Well, today it's another dash cam review. They're getting more and more popular. Everyone is getting a dash cam. It just gives you that peace of mind if someone ends up hitting you or hit and run, or you have a confrontation with someone. They are just so handy. And one of my favorite ones out of all the ones that I've tested, it's a pretty basic one, but it's the Vantrue N2 Pro. It's one of the first dash cams that I've owned. And I like it because of its size, because I go from car to car to car. Vantrue has come out with another new dash cam. This is the Vantrue N2S. Let's have a look at what's inside this nicely packaged box. You get a connection cable. This is to connect to your computer. For instance, there's a USB-C. Then there's a 12-volt power cable, so 12 volt on one side and USB-C on the other. And one of my favorite things with the Vantrue cameras is on the 12-volt outlet. If you flick the actual cover open, there is an additional USB. So if you are short on USBs, you get to add one more, and who doesn't want more USBs in their car? They're always handy. The N2S comes with GPS, and that is embedded inside the suction mount, which is another thing that I'm a big fan of for the Vantrue box, because the power cable connects to the mount itself, not to the camera, making it easy to take the camera off and on. Let's say if you want to swap cars. Well, what I do, if you have 2 or 3 cars and you're only driving one at a time, well, just buy a suction mount and a cabling system for the additional car and just leave it there. Now you can just pull your dash cam off. You don't have to take any wires and just plug it on to the other one. It's gonna cost you under 20 bucks, and that's what I do. It's really, really handy. And then you get to the dash cam itself. As you see, it is kind of similar to the N2 Pro in the actual ergonomics of it. It does have a larger screen. This comes with a 2-inch screen. You'll see in the front-facing camera, you have 4 IR lights facing you, and you can rotate that bezel so you can adjust your angle of what you're filming inside. Lens-wise, on the inside, you have a Sony Starvis sensor, and that's matched to a 1.8 aperture lens, which is a brighter lens for interior than the N2 Pro. And on the outside or the front camera, you have an IMX335 sensor, and that comes with a 1.4 aperture for the lens. So even better for low light. On the inside, it is important to have a quicker lens, but you do have the infrared, which helps out a ton, which we'll check out in a second. The front lens has a 155-degree field of view, while the interior or the inside lens has 165 degrees, so a little bit wider. Navigating around the N2S is quite simple. First of all, for the exterior camera, you can loosen the swivel to adjust the angle of your front camera, and for the inside camera, you can adjust by swiveling up and down, whatever the right angle would suit you. And then we are just going to stop recording right now, and very simple. There is a menu button. We have 3 sub-menus. We have record setup, hit OK again. We have dual recording or single recording. If we go to single recording, we can choose 4K 25 frames per second if we are only using just the front camera. If we choose dual recording, which most people are going to since you're buying a dual camera system, and let's go for the maximum, which is 1440 plus 1440 front and back. So let's hit OK there. We are dual recording. Then we have loop recording, so you can choose 1, 3, or 5 minute loops of how long your clips are gonna be. I like about 3 minutes, and once you fill up the entire card, it will continue and erase the older ones first, unless you've locked them to protect them. Okay, IR LEDs, auto, on or off. These are the lights here. And I have it auto, so when it gets dark enough, it'll automatically just turn itself on, or you can manually turn them on as well. We have the G sensor. This is going to adjust the sensitivity of what it takes of an impact to lock a recording. Let's say you get in an accident and you don't want that, that file to get overwritten. It's going to lock itself by itself. Or this is also sensitivity for if you are in parking mode, which we will get to right away here. Here we go, audio recording on or off. You can also select audio recording on or off with the button here while we are recording. You have parking mode, so if we hit OK, now there's a note here. It says, when parking in the hot summer sunlight, please use the collision detection trigger parking mode. So there are a couple modes here. I'm gonna hit OK, because you have two different options. You can go collision detection, which is your G sensor, your collision and motion detection, which is your G sensor, plus it'll detect if something is in the lens area, or just motion detection altogether. And I'm thinking that they say to use only the collision detection in real hot climates, is because it might get fooled from even the vapors, you know, the heat vapors coming up. So we have it on motion detection right there. If you are in parking mode, which by the way will only work if you have this either hardwired, so there are kits, you can hardwire right to your fuse box, there's an OBD2 kit, or you can use a dash cam battery, which I have. Either way, they all work. I like the dash cam battery because it doesn't put any strain on your system's battery, and it can go on for days. This is what I really like about Vantrue, the exposure. Not only can you control the exposure of the camera, but you can do it individually from front or rear camera. And on some cameras, you can adjust exposure, but once you expose on one, like say the outside, well, the inside will match up, and that might not be the case. You might want a little bit brighter on the inside and darker on the outside. You can do that here. You have wide dynamic range. I keep that on. So if you get into high contrast situations where there's a lot of sun and shadows, that's going to give you the best balanced picture. And number plate, if you want to put your license plate in there. Stamp, okay, this is going to stamp onto your actual video itself. If you want to rotate the display, or even time lapse if you want to do some creative filming. All right, so now we go into, let's go into the second menu in system setup. Hit OK, language, self-explanatory, format SD card. Highly recommend that you format it if you put a new card in here. Format it in the camera, don't do it on your computer as well. Time and date, auto LCD off, on, 1 minute, 30 seconds, auto, however long you want. I usually like to have it about 3 minutes, and then the LCD will turn off, which does not mean that it doesn't record, it just means that the display turns off. Device sound, do you want the beeps? You got a frequency here, 60 or 50 hertz. We're in 60. System info. Here you're going to see what software you're using. So if there are any issues or if there's any updates, you're going to download those from the Vantrue website and onto your SD card, and then you're going to compare it with this here. And that's where you're going to find out what your software number is. And default settings. All right. Last submenu, files. Hit OK. All right, so you have event, normal, and all. So normal, these are going to be all the files that are being recorded in 3-minute clips here, okay? Now, event is if you lock an event, or say you get an accident and it locked it for you, this is where you're going to find it here. So we're going to select, let's just say that here. That, you can see that it's playing there. Okay, so you have two separate files. You have your interior video file and you have your exterior. There are two separate files for you. So just make sure you know that. And if you want to manually lock a video, what you're going to do let's say if we are in video right now and it's recording, you can see it blinking here. Plus it's also flashing red on this one side button here. That's the only side button. So if there's something that you want to make sure that you save it, you want to lock that video. Oh wow, a raccoon walked by and it just ate a bear or something like that. You're going to hit that. Now you see the big red key. That means that that video is locked. And now you can go home and watch this raccoon eat a bear or whatever it is that you witnessed, and it's going to be locked right there. And when the SD card fills up, it will not overwrite the ones that are locked. One real nice addition to the N2S compared to my N2 Pro is that this is powered with a super capacitor, and that's becoming more and more common in dash cameras because super capacitors can withstand and operate under way higher and lower temperatures than ones with battery systems. So I have had on occasion with my N2 Pro on a real hot day where it has turned off by itself, and it's basically safeguarding because it's gotten too hot. So that is one thing you might want to look for in a dash camera, especially if you live in a hotter climate. Also, this is equipped with GPS as well. You can get it stamped onto your video. Plus, you can use software to actually map out where you're driving, and it'll show you on a map as well as your speed. This does not have a Wi-Fi connection or an app though, which I don't mind. I have dash cams that have Wi-Fi and apps, and seriously, I never ever use them, mainly because they're always really laggy. They're very, very slow. And even when you see a clip that you want, sometimes you actually have to go and download your card anyways to get the full resolution. So it's kind of just looking at a preview opposed to the full media. In case you're wondering, what does the audio sound like on the N2S for the built-in microphone? Well, I'm on my camera one right now. Let's switch to the N2S in-camera microphone. Hello, this is the audio straight from the N2S. I do have the sunroof open right now, so it might be a little bit louder in here, but this is what it sounds like. If I do not want the audio, I can just hit this button. Now I'm back onto my camera audio right now because the dash cam audio is turned off. So if you don't want people to hear or don't want to record maybe a conversation, you can turn that off. I just usually leave it on. Get that little microphone symbol and you're good to go. So what do you think of the image so far? We are in bumper to bumper traffic right now, so let's just see. Can you see enough detail on the vehicle in front of us? We're in the shade right now. There is some high contrast areas up ahead, but yeah, it's kind of late afternoon, so it's not super bright. But I think you can see some good detail in the vehicle in front. And how about myself? I think we're very bright right now. I think we should check out what it looks like at night. Okay, so this is what it looks like at nighttime with just regular street lights. This is with the audio from the N2S, and now the inside camera or the rear camera has now reverted into the infrared mode, so you can see I'm black and white, but pretty clear. We're also driving a really fun car, by the way. We are in the Mercedes A35 hatch. So have a look. We have headlights coming at us, and we have tail lights in front of us, and we have a little bit misty here. So if we actually put the wipers on, this is what it looks like. Ooh. Now that is really bright lights from that Cadillac. So I think there is quite a big improvement with the faster lenses on this compared to my N2 Pro. Not to say that the N2 Pro is bad. I still like that camera. I like the size, and you know what? It does everything well. I would just say if you don't need the super capacitor, or if you don't live somewhere where it's super hot like here, then you can save a few dollars and go for the N2 Pro. But otherwise, I think this is a very, very good choice, especially if you want in-cabin recording. recording, if you're an Uber or Lyft driver or a taxi driver, or you just want to have a recording or some documentation of what happens in the cabin or just outside your window. Let's see what it looks like with passengers at nighttime. All right, let those lights go down. This is in the back seat here. Hello. Totally dark, just the ambient lighting of the dash. Let's switch over to the passenger side here. Here we go here. Can you see me? Here I am, right there. And I'm talking pretty far back now. All right, now I'm in the front seat, in the passenger seat here. And yeah, there's a complete around the world tour at nighttime with the dash cam. So that's it for our review of the Vantrue N2S. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed so you'll be notified when we have more videos on dash cams, technology, food, cars. And Vantrue has been gracious enough to supply me with a discount code for my viewers, so I'll put it in the video description down there. Now, depending on when you watch this video, the code may or may not work because they don't last forever. So anyways, give it a try, go to their website, use that code, save yourself some money. Take care.